What's up, guys? So today this is just a little quick clip to kind of talk about when we're drafting. One of the things that we want to try and look out for. So when we're looking at the enemy team composition, we see that they're extremely good in terms of trading and sustaining. So they're going to have a much easier time in the early game than you guys because you're also good at trading and sustaining. But you come online a little bit later on because you're all very talent and quest based. Whereas this enemy team is not so much. Their sustain and trading ability comes online almost immediately. And I just kind of want to say I don't think Uther was necessarily the best pick to fit into this team composition. So looking at this, Uther already doesn't pair very well with Gul'dan because Gul'dan kind of needs constant healing to outtrade the enemy team. And Uther can't keep up with the demands that Gul'dan's going to need on healing, just in terms of mana and in terms of actual ability costs. He's also not going to be able to deal with the amount of poke that these guys have. And what you're going to end up having is a situation where the enemy can outtrade you all throughout the early game. So when you're picking your healer, it's really important to think about what kind of damage the enemy team has. They don't have anything really bursty. I mean, they're not really going to be able to burst you guys down. It's going to be a slow, sustained damage. And Uther doesn't keep up with that very well. And his burst healing is going to go to waste because they really don't have anything bursty. So I just kind of wanted to show an example of where this is problematic and why I think it's important for you guys to, in the draft, take care and attention with who your healer is. So yeah, I just want to show why this is problematic here. Okay, so just looking off this little trade of what we got here. In terms of what we've done, Bay has to go and tap. He's got no health. You're half health. Uther, if he heals anyone, he's going to be half mana. And everybody on this team is full health and mana, and nobody has had to tap. And these are the little kinds of micro trades that don't seem important. But they really, really add up. And you start to see that over the course of the early game where they are just out-trading you guys constantly in the early game. Greymane ends up, dying. Thrall gets poked out of lane, loses soak. Because you guys are constantly having to back and use fountains, and these guys don't have to do that at all. They just have a really strong, solid trading comp, and it works from the early game on. You guys just don't have that luxury of trading with them in the early game. So it's just one of those things I'd really like you guys to start thinking about in terms of your early game gameplay, because these little kinds of micro trades, especially against this kind of a team comp, matter, and they add up a lot. And it's the slow, steady creep of a loss over the entirety of the game when these micro trades are being lost. So I just wanted to touch on something super quick for the Rock B here when you're playing Gul'dan and you're deciding whether to go Corruption or Fellflame spec. Fellflame should kind of be your default with several exceptions. Just because it allows you to play much safer, clear waves much safer, and it allows you to poke in much safer fashion and just deal overall more poke damage. Corruption spec is really, really great, but against a team with this much sustain, it's not going to find value. So when you're against teams with this kind of sustain, Fellflame is generally going to be the best way to go. The other times you might think about Corruption spec are when you're fighting in a lot of choke points with fairly immobile heroes, which isn't really the case here. So that's just something to think about in terms of what would have happened with your micro trades. You probably would have come out much further ahead. You would have been able to clear waves faster. And as we see, the enemy team has actually gotten ahead of you guys in rotation. So that's just something to think about where this kind of talent choice actually makes a big difference. So I just wanted to touch on this Webweaver defense phase. So this is especially important on this map just because the top lane is so short, so incredibly short, and this is where the boss is. So generally speaking, your top lane is going to be where people win the game. And that means that defending this lane here becomes of the utmost importance. So I would have, as soon as you see that enemy Webweavers are coming down, I would hustle up to this top lane and I would be defending this. That's just something to prioritize on. I wouldn't be defending. The likelihood of you being able to prevent them from taking even extremely unlikely. So having Gray Mane up here to help clear this top boss really quickly, and then clear the middle boss really quickly, and just kind of trying to stay safe down here would have been awesome. And it's just something in general on this map I would like to see you guys do. It's just defending the top lane. Okay, so moving right along, I just want to talk about something that I see you guys doing constantly all the time, and it's actually the main reason why you guys have such trouble with rotations. And it's just this idea of splitting up the team all the time. If you notice, your opponents, they're all together. They're all here. Genji's just up here doing Genji things, but he's got his team right here to support him. And he can just hop over as well and join them at any time. None of these guys are splitting off unless they're trying to accomplish something. See, as soon as he even gets the littlest bit of pressure, his team is right there without hesitation. They're ready. They know exactly what he's doing. They know exactly where he is, and they're ready. So when we look at your team, I understand they have 10, and you guys have this tendency when you get behind this mentality where everybody split lanes and soak. And that's what we see happening here again. We have Thrall bottom, soaking bottom lane. We have Gray Mane top. We have Diablo in the middle. Tons of gems, way overextended, no healer nearby. It's a really dangerous position for him to be in, right? And we have the web weavers who have just been summoned. We see the entire team here. We're doing this camp here for Gul'dan's trying to solo this camp. I don't know why you should never be trying to solo this camp. But I mean, we see the enemy team is here, right? And we're continuing to just do our own thing, despite the fact that they're all together. And look at what just happened. We've lost basically all of our gems. So staying together is really, really important on all maps. Once you start getting into the higher levels, you know, there's arguments to be made for like bigger maps like Cursed Hollow, Warhead Junction, trying to soak and catch up. But on a small map like this, there's no reason for your team to be split up basically at all. And that's just because the lanes are so small. You can rotate together really quickly, clear lanes. But also, it's extremely important to have somebody nearby, just in case somebody does get picked off, they can pick up the gems. To lose this many gems and have nobody nearby, not have your team nearby to be able to pick this up, this can lose a game in and of itself. This is like, you know, 10 minutes of your life you'll never get back. And that's a big deal. Like, that's a really big deal. So, I mean, just this idea of, and I mean, we spend all this time trying to get this camp. We didn't even get the camp. Now the enemy can just take the camp, right? There was no reason to do this. We needed to all be together. And this is something, if you guys stick together all the time, you just stay as 4, you are going to find that your rotations improve a drastic, crazy amount. In addition to your mid game is going to improve quite substantially. Okay, so we're gonna go over what I think is kind of your only real team fight in this game. So I just want to say that, you know, the Genji pick here is so well done. Everybody is just on top of this Genji as soon as he comes in. Nobody hesitates. Fantastic. Really, really well done. Now we're going to see how the rest of the team fight kind of goes awry. They're down a person, so it's a 5v4. And even though you guys are down talent tier, you should be able to take this or at least push them off the point so that you can turn in. So we're just going to go frame by frame here and talk a little bit about what we kind of want everybody to be doing, right? So ideally, what we want Thrall over here protecting the flank, and we want Diablo in this bush. And here's one of the things with Diablo, you really want to try and always be in a bush when you can, especially here when you have so much terrain that you can kind of utilize to your advantage. And the main reason why you want to be in a bush as Diablo is because then you're not forced to use your charge to close the gap. So instead you can use your charge to actually get the stun, because what we see in a lot of these team fights with Diablo is you're charging in, you're using your Q, and then following up with the E. right? But instead, when you're sitting in the bush, in order for them to get in here, they either need to walk through this area, and Thrall is there to protect the flank, so they can't do that without getting stunned. And they can't come through this bush. They can't auto-attack you. They can't get vision on you without using an ability. So there's no way for them to get in here without walking up to you in melee range. And what that means is, if you're sitting in this bush as Diablo, if Tychus wants to come and walk up here, immediately you can overpower him and charge him right into this terrain right here, without them being able to do anything. Like, they can't get through here without being in melee range of you. And similarly, if they want to try and come around this way, they're going to get stunned by Thrall, and then they try and pour in, you're in prime position to, again, charge them against this terrain, right? So as Diablo, you want to be positioning yourself in such a way that you have access to all points of terrain wherever they might come in. So being in this bush is extremely important, just in terms of what you're looking to do. So again, we're just going to kind of go through this frame by frame. The Rock Beast should absolutely not be up here. We need Thrall to be over here protecting the flank. We want Greymane, and we want our Gul'dan over here kind of in the back, so that they can start poking these guys down. We're using cocktails and just poking them down. This is a perfect place where you can actually get really good use out of your E, your corruption, because they're sitting in a choke point. No matter what entrance they come in, they are sitting in a choke point. And this is where your E build actually becomes really good. It loses a lot of value when you're trying to use it in more open terrain and whatnot. So we just want Greymane, we just want Gul'dan over here. And then we want our Uther in the bush with Diablo, so that he is totally and completely ready to follow up. As soon as Diablo does his charge, Uther is immediately there to follow up with a Hammer of Justice as soon as they're done being stunned here. And that is whoever you pick off, whoever you get, whether it's Malfurion, shouldn't be Malfurion, you shouldn't be bush checking, but whether it's Tychus or whoever, even if it's Blaze coming in here, you guys can chunk them out really quickly, right? So that's kind of what we want to see. And this is looking extremely different than what we want. So just kind of looking here at Swoop, this is really dangerous positioning for you because your flank is completely exposed, and one of the main things we want to be looking for is you always first, before turning in, get a kill, secure the area, and then turn in, right? You have a 5v4, so you're in a really unique situation where you can actually do something, even though you're behind. So this shouldn't be happening. There shouldn't be turning in here. And then, yeah, we're playing pretty defensively. Like, there's no need to do that right now. Just come in here and get in position. Okay. So, looking at this, if you're in a situation where, for whatever reason, you don't have Horrify up, or you don't have any, like, say you're playing without an Anub'arak, which you are here, it doesn't have Cocoon, or you don't have any CC way to deal with Odin, just disengage. When they pop Odin, you can just disengage away from that. And it makes him waste an ultimate ability. Okay, so see, this is exactly what I mean. We've just charged in. Diablo's in a really bad position. Nobody is even close to here ready to follow up. These guys are really far away. Uther's not even here to follow up. And you're not going to kill Blaze, right? You're just not going to kill him here with no stun, nothing. So charging him doesn't make any sense. And now you're isolated from the rest of your team. And then, yeah, we're playing pretty defensively. Like, there's no need to do that right now. Just come in here and get in position. Okay. So looking at this, if you're in a situation where, for whatever reason, you don't have Horrify up, or you don't have any, like, say you're playing without an Anub'arak, which you are here, it doesn't have Cocoon, or you don't have any CC way to deal with Odin, just disengage. When they pop Odin, you can just disengage away from that. And it makes him waste an ultimate ability. Okay, so see, this is exactly what I mean. We've just charged in. Diablo's in a really bad position. Nobody is even close to here ready to follow up. These guys are really far away. Uther's not even here to follow up. And you're not going to kill Blaze, right? You're just not going to kill him here with no stun, nothing. So charging him doesn't make any sense. And now you're isolated from the rest of your team, which is really okay. So we're just gonna back up. I hope this doesn't break the game. These guys are all completely exposed because your bruiser isn't warding bushes for you. So anybody can just come in here and then harass the back line. And now we've got Diablo, who's split off from the enemy team because he went too far forward with that charge, right? If we had been sitting in the bush here, we wouldn't have had this problem. And then the Horrify comes out. What did you do with that Horrify? When you're using Horrify, you want to be trying to split somebody off from the enemy team. So the inner ring should be positioned in such a way that you're going to fear away targets like Malfurion. Is great to fear away, but you're not fearing anybody into your team. That's why this ultimate ability is so good, because you can fear the team away as well as fear somebody and isolate them and get a kill. And that's what you should always be kind of looking for Horrify to do, right? You can use it to Horrify away the Gul'dan and the Malfurion and get Blaze out of position, but he's still in the bunker, right? And we didn't even hit Tychus. So it's just these little things you should be looking for in terms of how to use your ultimate abilities and how they fit in with the team composition. And again, we're still trying to turn in here. I mean, we want to be getting kills. And the other problem here with this whole situation is that look at your quest. You should be aiming to have this quest done before level 13. At the very, like, there's no reason by level 13 to not have this done. And you're only at 3 stacks. Use this opportunity to get your stacks, right? These team fights are where you're going to be getting your stacks. And this is, like, really the only one that you guys get. So it's just crucial to... And then, okay, so we have, you know, he's walking around the long way. Everybody's really, really split up. You didn't even get a chance to turn in, and our Thrall is completely isolated. Using this ultimate ability over here for what? I mean, it hasn't done anything for you. What was it to save your life? So you want to be using your ultimate abilities just to pair with each other, right? You want to use your Sundering to set yourself up in a really good position to get a kill. And then when they collapse, you want to use your Horrify to set somebody up to be killed, to get them in a position to be killed. So, I mean, using your ultimate abilities, just throwing them out for no reason whatsoever is really, really holding you guys back in your team fights. I mean, it's a struggle. And we haven't actually used Apocalypse yet, which is a shame because Sundering can actually set you up for some great Apocalypse. We just need to be comboing these abilities together. And now everybody is extremely split up. Nobody is kind of... We've got Johanna harassing the back line. Diablo should be dealing with this. You know, nobody's kind of... We're not getting any... This is... Look at this. Look at this. Holy shit. Cocktail sandwich right over here. You could actually maybe even get a kill on Malfurion, drop a cocktail on Johanna. Just keep pounding those cocktails out. You're still at 3 stacks even after the team fight. We drop a cocktail on Johanna, and then we can actually just run in and get a kill on the Malfurion. But everybody's too far away, right? Like, positioning is important. It's really important. And now, again, we're in prime position to get some kills, secure some kills. But everybody's so low health. Everybody's just taking free poke damage. Nobody's actually just jumping on targets, you know? Like, we're just letting them heal up and nobody cares. So, I mean, this is just one of those kind of things, you know, you need to be thinking about in terms of team fight. They have the sustain. You guys have the ability to pick somebody off really quickly. Tools like Horrify, tools like your stun combinations, tools like Sundering, tools like Cursed Bullet. All of these tools are designed to just pick somebody off really quickly and cleanly at the beginning of a fight and make it a 5 versus 4. or in this case, make it a 3 versus 5 or whatever, right? So comboing those heroic abilities together is really, really crucial, and positioning yourselves in an aggressive fashion around your Diablo, ready to follow up, is key here.